Well, hello there, and welcome to the Dana Spencer Show, where we talk about solving problems, building relationships, quitting corporate, and the freedom to walk in your God given purpose. So, how are we feeling today? I hope you are feeling amazing. You've got the activity of your limbs. This is the day that the Lord hath made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And I hope you're super glad today. I am super glad today. And normally I have someone joining me, but I do not have anyone today. But I wanted to focus in today on the importance of understanding your players. So, this is mainly today for coaches. When we think about building those relationships, how many times have we heard from players and people in general and athletes and people all across the world who say the most impactful people in their lives a lot of times were their coaches. So how can you take that to the next level? Because we all know you are doing what you are doing day in and day out, spending hours with your players and engaging and building those relationships. Why? Because you want to have an impact on this generation and generations to come. And so, in order to take that even further, even to the next level, I want to introduce to you the flight assessment. The flight assessment, it measures your behavioral preferences in four key areas. And I want you to think from a coach's perspective, how helpful would this be to take your relationship with your players to the next level, as well as the relationship with your coaches, your coaching team, your life, your personal life. I mean, it's going to change the game in so many areas of your life. But right now, I just want to focus on you and your players and understanding your players as well as the role that they should be in on the court, on the field, wherever. So the first thing is the flight assessment measures your behavioral preference as it relates to your relationship with other people and how you influence other people. And as a coach, you have a tremendous amount of influence on your players. So chances are in this area, you probably are through the roof, right? But there's always room for improvement because one of the things that the assessment teaches us is that our perception of ourselves can be completely different of how other people perceive us. And that probably is one of the greatest things that I enjoy the most about the assessment because we just have this false view of ourselves. And I'll be honest, it stepped on my toes as far as how other people perceive me. So it's how you influence and interact with other people. That's one of the characters. And with the assessment, there are characters associated with each particular behavioral preference. And Dr. Eric Thomas did an amazing job with this assessment. He took the DISC assessment and then added characters to each one of the D, the I, the S, and the C. So with the D, that is the pilot. With the I, that is the flight attendant. With the S, that is the air traffic controller. And with the C, that is the grounds crew. And so with the flight attendant, that's your behavioral preference as it relates to interacting and influencing people. And then solving problems and making decisions, your behavioral preference, that's the pilot. And then when we think about strategy and people's rules and procedures and all of that, that's the air traffic controller. And then finally, your behavioral preference as it relates to your pace in the environment, that is the ground crew. So I want to share my screen and show you the actual assessment. And so this is my assessment that I took back in September. And I just want to show you, and I hope you're thinking about how valuable this would be as it relates to the athletes that you coach. So the table of contents, and then a message from Dr. Eric Thomas, as well as what I was just telling you, the behavioral preferences in each of the key areas, as well as the characters that are associated with the preferences. And then it goes into this next level of measuring you as you answer the questions. And then, oh my goodness, and then the words that are associated with the the flight assessment. So when I think about myself personally as a flight attendant, it says I am sociable and friendly. And that's me all day long. It's so spot on. What if you understood which players were flight attendants? So when we think about superstars like Michael Jordan, most I believe he probably, if he were to take this exam, he would definitely be with the pilot and the flight attendant. He personable as well as driving and committed and just unbelievable. And so for me personally, I'm sociable and I can be friendly at times as well. And then the grounds crew. These are your Dennis Rodmans. Imagine knowing for sure who the players that are going to be amazing, that you have that are amazing on defense. Because this is what I'm seeing. So we can be, as far as our teams are concerned, you can recruit a lot of talent, but at the end of the day, and everybody's a shooter and everybody wants to score and everybody wants the ball. However, at the end of the day, we really need some Dennis Rodmans on our teams, the people who are going to be extremely amazing as it relates to defense and scrounging for the ball and getting those rebounds. And when you understand who you already have, then this is going to help you to know, I need some Dennis Rodmans. I need some people who are strong in air in grounds crew, because they are going to be the ones that are going to really help you in this area of defense and making sure that they don't want to necessarily have the ball. They're supportive. They want to be encouragement to the Michael Jordans of the world. So make sure that you have some grounds crew on your team. And then the air traffic controllers. These are going to be very strategic. And in terms of, so if you have players that are a little bit rebellious, they're probably down here with me and thinking, hey, coach, there's got to be a better way. There's a different way. You are telling them which play to run, and they always have something to say. They always have a question. They always are like, I think there's a better way we can do this. I hope you are understanding how having this assessment on each one of your players, how this is going to change the game for you, as well as improve your relationship as well. And then chances are you're going to have a lot of players that are going to be up here, very decisive, very competitive. And so if everybody is competitive, which chances are they probably will be, then understanding how to communicate with the competitive players is going to change the game. I promise you that it will. And then just more of, there's how you react naturally, and then the adaptive range is how you act when people are watching. So just imagine there can be a difference when your players are during the game versus practice. How many times have you noticed, oh man, in practice he was amazing, he did this, that, and the other, she was great, but when it came time to the game, when everybody is watching, they may be a little bit different. This is going to be the adaptive versus that natural range. How important is this going to be to understand players and how they are different on the court versus in practice? I'm telling you, game changer. And then it just goes into more depth on the strengths and the limitations based off of your score. And then there's some specifics over here that are so good and will help you with knowing this about each one of your athletes. And then it goes over this with each one, like the grounds crew and the scorer and the air traffic controller, and also with the pilot, it goes in depth. And I can help you with this. So just imagine you bring me in and all of your players and your coaches take this assessment, and then we go over it. Oh my goodness. This is going to take your team to the next level. And then it also has this adaptive range summary, and then it has a summary of your motivation. It tells you your motivation, and it is incredible how spot on it is. And I just wanted to help you with this because it is so helpful. Dr. Eric Thomas has used this assessment with Baylor. That was the year they won the championship. He's used it with NBA teams, NFL teams, Nike. I mean, so many have used this assessment, and now they are taking their professional lives and their personal lives to the next level all within taking a 10-minute assessment. It's incredible. And then self-care, like the things that you need to do as an individual that are going to help you more as it relates to self-care. And then the opportunities for growth. There's always opportunities for growth, right? We can't get away from this. But understanding what is going to help you personally to grow and get to that next level. What is going to help your athletes to grow and get to that next level? I want to help you to take care of that. And oh my goodness, this right here, perception is reality. This is what I was telling you about. Your perception of yourself is so very different from other people's perception of you. When I was at the training with Dr. Eric Thomas, and one of the things that he was asking us was, he's like, who is somebody in your life that you know that is a pilot? And for me, I was like, oh, it's my son all day long. He's very direct. He's very competitive. He hates to lose. I was like, it's my son. So when I took the assessment, guess what? My score was exactly the same as my son. So my perception of my son was direct and competitive and all those things, but I didn't have that same perception of myself. So how you view yourself and how other people view you can be totally different. That's why you need to take this assessment so that you can understand you and understand other people at a completely new level. It is incredible, I promise. And then do's and don'ts. How important. This is the cheat sheet on how to what to do, how to communicate, and how not to communicate with your players. Do you have an athlete where you're like, man, I just can't quite understand how to connect better with him or her? Here's the cheat code. I'm offering the cheat code just for you, understanding how to communicate with your players. And guess what? It's going to help you with communicating with other people, even in your professional and your personal life. So these are some other just reflection questions and some other information, but I promise you, it will change your life and it's going to change the performance of your team. And so that's what I wanted to share with you today, the importance of the flight assessment. And in my life personally, it has helped me to communicate so much better with my son's father, so much better with my mom, because my mother had knee replacement surgery. And she hasn't been tested, but I know she's a grounds crew. That's the other thing. Once you take the assessment, it's going to help you to understand other people and you can make the adjustments, kind of like what you do in the game. You know, maybe you're up or you're down and you go to halftime and you make those adjustments the same way you make those adjustments when it's game time. When it comes to your personal and professional life, you can make the adjustments as well. So my mother had knee replacement surgery. And I'm pretty sure she's a grounds crew. But like I said, I've never had her tested, which I probably should. But you have to formulate questions differently because her personality is that she doesn't want to be a burden to anyone, right? And so I would have to ask her specific questions when it came to her pain level. So the questions sounded something like, you know how they say on your scale of 1 to 10, what's your pain level? You have to like watch her facial expressions when you're moving her leg, or asking her specific questions like, how uncomfortable are you? What's your comfort level? And then even when she goes to a doctor's appointment, I have to ask her, what did the doctor say? Not questions like, well, how did your doctor's appointment go? Because then she's going to say, fine, it went good. But you have to be able to say questions like, what did the doctor say? So that you can get to the right answers. Think about that when you're having questions, when you question your athletes. How's it going? And you can't seem to quite get them to open up. They may be a ground crew, and you have to understand what's the best way to communicate with them. The do's and don'ts that I was showing you from the assessment, right? So it's going to be so important for you to get this assessment for yourself, because number one, self-awareness is key. Understanding who you are, and then once you understand your behavioral preferences, then you can own up to it. Secondly, just own up to who you are. This is me. However, then you can make those adjustments. What adjustments do you need to make in order to communicate with your athletes, with your family, with the community, with your fellow coaches? This assessment is going to change the game for you and the rest of your life. So reach out to me. I would love to help you. I would love to work with your team in order to help you to take your performance to the next level. And that's what I got for you today. A little bit different style than we normally do for the Dana Spencer Show, but this is just so important that I just wanted to take time out from interviewing special guests to let you know the flight assessment is available. I'm available to help you, and I want to work with you and your coaching staff as well as your athletes so that you too can take flight and take your game and your communication and your relationships to the next level. I'm Coach Dana Spencer, or I'm Aunt Dana, the athlete's favorite aunt. Until next time, peace out.